Hey guys, this one is called The Volunteer. The Volunteer. Dr. Evan O'Neill Kane was chief surgeon of Kane Summit Hospital in New York City. At age 60, he had been a surgeon for almost 37 years. Like most physicians of great experience, Dr. Kane had become preoccupied with a particular facet of medicine. His strong feelings concerned the use of general anesthesia in major surgery. Dr. Kane believed that most major operations could and should be performed under local anesthesia, for, in his opinion, the hazard of general anesthesia outweighed the risk of the surgery itself. For example, Dr. Kane cited the surgical candidate with a history of heart trouble. In such a case, a surgeon might be reticent to operate, fearing that the effects of the anesthesia on the heart. And of course, there were those patients with specific anesthesia allergies who never awakened. Dr. Kane's medical mission was to prove to his colleagues that the viability of local anesthesia in most surgical procedures, and it would take a great deal of convincing. Now, let me take a break here. The difference between general anesthesia and local anesthesia, general anesthesia is when they put you under and they put you to sleep, and you're asleep during the whole time, and then you wake up and you're back in your hospital room and everything's done. Local anesthesia is like if you have, say you've got a cyst or something on your hand, and what they'll do is they'll just spray the area around the local area around where the cyst is to numb the skin and to numb the pain so they can cut it out and get it out. So that's what it means by local as opposed to general anesthesia. So anyway, back to continue. Many patients were understandably squeamish at the thought of being awake while it happens. Others feared the possibility of the anesthetic wearing off during surgery. To break down these psychological barriers, Dr. Kane would have to find a volunteer, a candidate for major surgery who would be willing to accept local anesthesia. Someone did volunteer, and that is the rest of the story. In his distinguished 37-year medical career, Dr. Evan Kane had performed nearly 4,000 appendectomies. That's when they cut out your appendix. I had mine out in the 3rd grade, so I know. 4,000 appendectomies. So this next appendectomy would be routine in every way but one. Dr. Kane's patient would remain awake throughout the surgery under local anesthesia. The operation was scheduled for Tuesday morning, February the 15th. The patient was prepped, wheeled into the OR. Local was administered. Dr. Kane began as he had thousands of times before, carefully dissecting superficial tissues and clamping blood vessels on the way in. Locating the appendix, the 67-year-old surgeon deftly pulled it up, excised it, and bent the stump under. Through it all, the patient experienced only minor discomfort. The operation concluded successfully. The patient rested well that night, and the following day his recovery was said to have progressed beyond that of the typical post-operative patient. On the afternoon of the 17th, just 2 days after his surgery, the patient was released from the hospital to recuperate at home. Dr. Kane had proved his point. The risk of general anesthesia could be avoided in major operations. The potential of local anesthesia had been fully realized, thanks to the example of an innovative doctor and a brave volunteer. Oh, did I mention that this milestone in surgery was performed February the 15th in 1921? And did I mention that Dr. Evan O'Neill Kane and the patient who volunteered for the experimental procedure had a great deal in common? They were, in fact, the same man. Dr. Kane, to prove the viability of local anesthesia in major surgery, had operated on himself. And now you know the rest of the story. Ha! Love you guys. Bye-bye.